my love and passion of bringing people together. And so they were mostly my age at that time, a little younger, a little older, but moms. And what we found is for 1 hour a day, we got to come together and be the girl we were before we became the wife, the mom, the responsible one. So it was like we were in the club, but it was 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And we just got to be our young, free selves.
Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle, the inspiring podcast challenging norms and helping you redefine vulnerability as a strength. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. Each episode of Vulnerability Muscle dives into a variety of topics such as mental health, social issues, and mindset shifts. We explore the power of vulnerability in fostering meaningful connections, healing, building resilience, and promoting personal growth. Sometimes these conversations are uncomfortable, but good workouts often are. So join us and flex that vulnerability muscle. Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. And today with me, I have a special guest, one of my classmates and new friends from the University of Pennsylvania. This is Joni O'Neil. Joni, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited and honored to be here with you, beside you, and experiencing a little bit of your world.
I appreciate that. And I'm honored to be here with you as well. I'm going to give you all a little bit of background on Joni. She brings a unique blend of clinical experience and human-centered work with over 25 years of experience in healthcare as a cardiovascular nurse. And now as a board certified nurse coach, she's helping people not just manage, but thrive in the work that they do. Joni is the creator of the Self Coaching Circle, a powerful framework that helps people regulate emotions, shift their thinking, and create real change. And what I appreciate most is your strength of gratitude, zest, hope, spirituality, and that's how you show up. And I think I'll add another one to that just from knowing you is your level of honesty and how you bring that to every conversation, every discussion that we have. You exude that, and I really appreciate that about you. And I hope that it comes through to the listeners through this conversation. So, with that, I have one opening segment that I like to do with folks, and it's just three relatively simple questions. I don't know how simple they'll be for you, but they are this. What comes to mind when you hear the word vulnerability?
I think openness, and it's almost a visual that comes to mind, which is something just really soft and fragile,
Mhm.
you know. Yeah, that's a tough one,
It is.
especially for people who are the helpers.
Yeah.
We're the ones who are always the listeners, the
Mhm.
ones who offer. It's very difficult to turn that around. I mean, it's very simple for me to be present and all of the things, honest with people who are vulnerable, but
Mhm.
it's a lot harder to flip that around and
Yeah,
be
it
vulnerable.
is. It is. It is. As a career caretaker. You've been in that space for a long time. You're also a mother, and you've been married for over 33 years, which like so many societal roles that tell you that you're a caretaker, but you've done that. You've signed up for that and you've worked in that. And so I can imagine that it is difficult to turn that around. So thank you for sharing that.
Of
With
course.
having said that, though, what is something that you do to take care of yourself, to center yourself, to ground yourself if you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed?
Well, the first thing is prayer, breath work, taking a few slow, deep breaths and stepping into prayer and just remembering that this life is just a drop in the bucket.
Mm,
And that helps put everything in perspective when I
mhm,
feel overwhelmed. So it's the same that as I teach. It's body, manage your body and then you go from there. And for me, it's inviting, I don't know, Jesus, I can say
yeah.
that here,
Yeah, for
inviting
sure.
Jesus in and just remembering that this space is so short and so, what's the word I'm looking for? Not unexpected, but unknown. We don't know
True.
how long we have. We don't. And so when you shift into that, it helps you let go of most of the things that just weigh you down.
I love that. It's like losing the attachment to this body and this earth and this time because it's temporary. And when we take the pressure off ourselves, it's like, oh, how freeing, how liberating that can be. I love
Mhm.
that. You talked about dropping into the body, and I want to get back into that later because I think that is a big key to a lot of the healing that I've done. But I have one last question to open up is what is one of your, and you might have to dig into the vault for this one, but what is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Hmm. Okay, this is a weird one. Um, I don't like many like many adults. I don't have a lot of childhood memories. That's a whole different conversation. Um, but I do remember laying on the twin bed with my mom and my brother. She was sitting up against the wall. My little brother, who is a few years younger than me, we're very close, and my mother was singing to us.
Mm,
Um, and that did not happen very often. I've shared a little of my story with you, um, but I can remember that, and I just remember that feeling of peace and like safety in that moment. And it was not a big. I mean, it was not a big thing. Like we didn't get something new. It wasn't a holiday. It was literally just a moment that weirdly I can recall. And she was singing the song. I have to Google it. I don't even know what it is. It was called Turaluralai. So it's an old
mm,
song. Um, and it was just a moment that some for some reason I can
yeah.
recall.
When you think about that moment, what sensations come to your body?
Mm, calm and ease. And my mother, for all of the, I don't want to say faults, but all of the things that didn't go well, one thing she always instilled into me, and I assume to my siblings, is you can do or be anything you want in the world as
Mm,
long as you work hard and, show up. And so, like that sense, I mean, that was a later time when she would say that, or maybe it was, I don't really remember, but that kind of meshes together in my memory of her. And I choose to go there because she's been gone for almost 20 years. Um, I choose to go there because it lets me see the best in her
mhm.
and the best moments in my childhood, I think.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. Like, I mean, just thinking about the calm and being in such comfort in that time, hearing her voice and the peace of that, and then being able to remember and recall positive experiences, even though she's been gone for 20 years. I will. This is the vulnerability muscle. So that conversation that's for next for another time. That's the conversation for right now. And I want to be a little vulnerable right now. This is my first recording in a minute. After some big news in my life. I'm not ready to share that news. I will keep that news to myself for right now. But I will share the feelings that have come up around that news. I have I've been triggered. Like I was talking about this we call it DL periods for school, distance learning periods. This distance learning period has been hard because I got some news and it shook my system. It's related to my mother. And I got to thinking, I have very few positive memories with my mom. And it's so hard to even like I sit there, I'm in therapy and I'm trying to think about them. And I'm like, even like if there's a glimmer, I try to cling to these, but there's like a glimmer of positivity, and then it just like is overshadowed by something that happened a second before or after. And, but one of the things that I was able to pull was, I used to have long hair and she used to braid my hair. And like the process of braiding my hair, like washing it and, putting oil in it and parting it and combing it, that used to just like, it felt so nurturing. when
Mm.
oftentimes she wasn't that way. And so I resonate with, the faults of our parents, but then being able to pull some of those memories. I'm glad you're able to pull some of them. That's great.
I love that you said nurturing because
Mhm.
I wouldn't do not associate that word with my mother at
Mm.
all. And in that moment with my brother lying on the bed with her singing, that was like that hit me hard in the heart, that word
Mhm.
nurturing, because I really try to provide that to my own children. And I have not even thought about that in regard to myself until you
Wow.
said that.
What's coming up for you right now as you think about you as a mother having raised the kids that you've raised with the example that you got? What are you feeling right now?
Gratitude,
Mm.
gratitude. I tell you, Reggie, um, probably lots of moms will say this. Mine probably didn't, but I have the most wonderful children in the world in the sense that they are loving, kind, caring, they're affectionate. My daughter, who's 20, still crawls up on top of me if I'm in the chair when she comes in, just to lay there for a moment. My 25-year-old son, if I'm sitting, he'll come sit on my knees and let me
Mhm.
scratch his back.
Aw.
Um, my 23-year-old son, who's living with us for just a short period, every morning hugs me before he leaves. And not like, like love you, bye. We do that too, but he'll give me a real hug with a real squeeze. And like, I'm so proud of the people they are. And I think it is because my husband and I both have always just been open, loving, affectionate, present. We weren't their best friends, we're starting to get that way now. But when they were young, we had definite lines of parents and child, but we never we never put their value in anything that they did or didn't do. It's always in who they are. And I when when we talk about this nurturing, I feel very, very proud of the way I've raised my children. I mean, we're not perfect. We have all the stories like everybody else, but they've grown up to be really decent, good people.
That is kudos to you, mama and papa. Kudos to both of y'all because I mean, y'all did that, and it's amazing to see, through generations. I talk about generational trauma and generational healing in my book and a lot of the discussions that I have, and to break a cycle of pain, to change the narrative is something that you've done. And so if I were to interview your children, they would have different stories to say, and they would know that mom is nurturing, and they would experience that. And so, I'm so proud and happy to hear that that has been the experience, and that you have gratitude toward that with your kids. So amazing. So, um, I'm curious how you, when you said your mom told you could be anything in the world, what were your initial thoughts about what that would be, and how has that shifted to the career that you've chosen?
This is a funny story. Of course, when I was little like that, I had no idea. Um, I remember in high school we did those career assessment, and they tell you, what jobs would be good for you. I'll never forget this. Mine came back as either a prison guard or a
Mm.
cruise director.
Some people might think they're similar. I don't know.
So, but if you had asked me in high school what I wanted to be, I would have told you I wanted to be a solid gold dancer, and you're probably too young to know what that is,
Yeah,
and
I just thought
a
that was the
motivational
adjective that
speaker.
went before it. What'd you
What?
say? I thought that was the adjective that went before it. It sounds like it was a proper noun.
No, no, no. Okay, so there was a show when I was a kid, and it was like a variety show, but they did the countdown for whatever the popular music was, and they had this team of dancers who would come and dance for that little segment. And so it was a thing as a kid you'd watch and like, oh, I want to be with that. So I wanted to be a solid gold dancer and a motivational speaker.
Okay. And you have danced,
Yes,
and you teach dance,
yes,
and you are a motivational speaker. So
yes.
look at those childhood dreams coming true. Let's
I
go.
know. It's
Nice.
wild to look back and see that. and I believe that what we think and what we focus on, we plant those seeds and we create those things. And there's been so many things in my life like that they could be just 100% coincidental, which they likely are. But then looking back and you're like, oh, that did happen.
Mhm. Yeah.
I always said when I was young, we were very poor. So I was like, I always want a white car. My
Mm.
entire life, adult life, I've driven a white car, except maybe one, I had one silver car at one time. When I was in high school, I found in my book, back then they had these books you'd write in, like what you will be in 5 years or what you'll
Mhm.
be. I was going to be married and have two boys and a girl in that order.
Wow.
That's what I have.
Wow.
So,
You manifested your life.
yeah,
Listen,
I
look
think in
at
some
that.
ways, yeah.
Wow. When did it start to shift for you where you realized that you had the agency to really impact your own life? Like when did that start to change in your mind?
Oh, so this is interesting. So I've always been one of those people who lives in metacognition, meaning thinking about what I'm thinking about. And for a number of years, I just thought I was a little cuckoo. Something's wrong with me. I have this voice in my head and I'm having
Mm.
this conversation. And then you don't really think about it again. And then when I found coaching, so I've been coaching since 2020, and I started learning all the language around agency awareness, metacognition, the whole concept of, you know, there's you and you have a brain and your brain gives you thoughts, and that, your thoughts are not you, and that you have this ability. I was blown away because I was all of a sudden like, that's what this is all about. This is
Mm.
normal. And then I looked back to to my youth and to I remember specifically my husband and I were dating and we were fighting, and I remember having this conversation in my head like, are you going to cry? Are you really going to cry right now? This is ridiculous. This is not a
Mhm.
reason to cry. And so in the moment, while I'm still conversing with him and having this thing, I'm having this conversation back here, and I thought I was nuts.
Mm.
But comes to find out, and I started coaching. I found coaching when I was at 50.
Wow.
So, like, it was mind blowing. Like, oh, this is so empowering.
Mhm.
This is normal. But
Yeah.
why do we not teach people this? Why, me, 30 years in healthcare, why didn't no one explain this to me
Mhm.
ever in my life? And so that was the turning point for everything, when you realize you're in charge of yourself
Mm.
and not
Mm.
just what your brain tells you is the truth.
Wow, that's powerful. And to be able to have the awareness, because I mean, it is normal for to anybody listening. Like, if you feel like it's crazy or nuts to talk to yourself in your head, like that is normal. We're gonna do that, and that like we ought to do that. And there's so many benefits that come from that. But to be able to recognize the separation, that you are not your thoughts, that the things that you've even the thoughts that you even have and have had for most of your life, they may belong to somebody else. And it's like up to us to actively reconstruct those that are in a beneficial way to us. So that's powerful. And you said you got into coaching at 50. So I'm curious, were there any other modalities, or did you go to therapy, or were there any mentors or books that you had read before that helped you kind of grapple with that?
Well, I've always been a sucker for positive, motivational speakers. So
Mhm.
I've seen Zig Ziglar twice in person when I
Mm.
was a teenager. And I was always inspired by this idea that you can be and have anything you want in your life as long as you help other people get what they want and need.
Mhm.
And that, just his, I used to put his quotes different places, different times in my life, and just this idea that it's you are in charge of how you show up and all of these things. So other than that, and then I did do some self-help, but I didn't really find like Brene Brown and some of these more famous people until I started really digging into coaching.
Mhm.
One of my mentors in the hospital, she was looking for a graduate program. She's now doing her PhD at Rochester in nursing research. She called me and said, "Hey, Joni, I found this thing called nurse coaching. I think this is up your alley." And at the time, this was like 2019, and I was like, I don't have time. I'm working. I'm teaching my fitness classes. I'm raising kids. But what she did was she planted that seed, and
Mhm.
so I started on my own, like researching what is coaching, what does this mean, and then it just opened this whole world of possibilities, and so that's when I started like
Wow.
maybe I should do this thing.
Yeah. Before we get into that, can we go back to when you decided to commit your career to service of others as a nurse and a very technical nurse at that? Like you were in cardiovascular nursing, and how did you get to that point, and what did you gain from that experience?
Okay, that's another funny roundabout story. So I had gone to college right out of high school, like most people, and just floundered, partied, changed my major, struggling, working, all of the things with absolutely no direction. I look back, I don't even know how I got to college because I did all the applications, everything by myself. I didn't have anybody at the time to help.
Mm.
So looking back, you're like, I don't even know how I got in, but I did. Um,
Where'd
and
you go?
so
You want to give it a shout out?
where?
Where'd you go? You
Oh,
want to
well, I
shout it out?
started. That's where I started. I started
Yeah.
here in Stillwater at Oklahoma State University.
Mm.
And then I ended up going 5 different schools and then getting married and going back to school. So I guess the main thing I got out of the first 2 years of school was my husband.
That's a good thing.
We met my first day at college.
Wow.
And so I struggled and then we got married. I left school. I didn't graduate. I didn't know what I was wanted. I changed my major 5 times. And all along my husband said, "Oh, you should go to nursing school." And because he said it, I was absolutely not going to do it. So I worked in the real world for a couple years and realized I needed to go back to school, that I need a degree, I need to have an income. And so that was a good experience. I decided to go to nurse. I decided to take his advice, and I took a job as a nurse's aide in a nursing home. And it was because I wanted to see if I had what it took. And that was the hardest job I ever had.
Mm,
It was
yeah.
literally the hardest, lowest paid job I ever had. But I saw, the impact on real people's lives. And I think that's where my love of the aging population started. And so I was like, yes, I want to do this. And so I went back to nursing school at 25. I'd already been married 3 years. And of course, you're a different person. You're grown up. I had different um, motivations, and school was a breeze. I made A's and everything was great. And I went directly into emergency room. So I've only been a cardiovascular nurse for about 3 years. Prior to
Mhm.
that, I did all different things: emergency nursing, outpatient surgery. And then I spent 10 years in health and wellness
Mhm.
as our medical fitness supervisor for our hospital's medical fitness facility, which is kind of when I fell in love with fitness.
Okay. Wow. That's a journey and a journey of perseverance, a journey of like stick to it and keep going. Cause I think about like when you look at the statistics on either transferring or not continuing through the 4 years when you initially start, like the dropout rates are high. And for you to find your passion to keep going, to listen to your husband and
Eventually,
like
he's right a lot.
that's amazing. That's amazing. You said you gained a passion for working with the elderly population during that time. Are there any patient stories that stand out to you that really sparked that interest?
How much time you got, Reggie Ford?
Let's hear it. I want to hear something. Give me something good.
Oh my gosh, there are so many. And really, let me start here. When I started teaching Zumba, that's my fitness format in 2006 when nobody knew what it was. That is kind of really was the beginning of my combination of medical and fitness. And that forged a whole new direction in my career. And that's when I moved over into medical fitness and all of this. But what I found at that time was a way to help larger groups of people versus just like a patient. And
Mhm.
so my initial demographic was people just like me. I was a young mom, just had a baby. I was in that place where you're just stressed. Um, my marriage was fine, but I was so mad at my husband all the time just because I was tired and trying to raise three kids under five, not by myself, but mostly by myself because he was working to support us.
Mhm.
And when I found this fitness platform, it opened up this space for women, primarily occasional man, but mostly women, to come together. And we just recently talked about this in our program about combining exercise, music, rhythm, social connection, and all of the joy and energy that comes out of that for not just me, the instructor, but for the whole room. And so that's where I started building my love and passion of bringing people together. And so they were mostly my age at that time, a little younger, a little older, but moms. And what we found is for 1 hour a day, we got to come together and be the girl we were before we became the wife, the mom, the responsible one.
Mm.
So it was like we were in the club, but it was 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we just got to be our young, free selves. And so that's where it started as I began to build this network of people. And some of those people are still with me 20 years later.
Wow.
Um, Also 20 years older and in the different times in their lives. But when
Mhm.
I started teaching, it started bringing in people of different ages. And I can remember one class where I said, okay, stop. We have to stop. I said, anybody in your teens, raise your hand. And I went to teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I had a representative of every demographic in one class. And I said, I
Wow.
want you to look around. These are your sisters and your mamas and your grandmas and your nieces and your grandkids. And so that was like this cross generational space that just rarely doesn't happen anymore.
Wow. That yeah, you rarely ever see that. Oh my goodness, how powerful that must have been for everybody in that room.
Yeah.
You everybody in that room. Wow. I'm thinking about like myself as a teenager and being able to see somebody in their 80s still moving their body. Because
Mhm.
I don't think I grew up with seeing adults period workout like other than like maybe the like pro athlete, like I didn't see adults working out, stretching, moving, dancing, anything like that. And then for the 80-year-old to see the teen, oh my goodness, wow, that's
And to
powerful.
be accepted, not like
Mm-hmm.
the 80s are in the back either.
Mm.
We're just, and that was to me is, and sometimes I think I need to write a letter to Beto Perez, who's the founder of Zumba, just in the number of lives that he affected. Because when I turned 40, they, my friend, I call them my friends, my participants, they threw me a birthday party. And for the gift, what they gave me was this shoebox full of notes, and it said things like, my marriage is better because I'm happier. I don't take my inhalers anymore. I no longer need my antidepressants. I am whatever age, and
Whoa.
I've never had this many friends before. Like that was what they gave me. And I still have it and I still pull it out on occasion, even though that was a very long time ago. Um, that it was just this medium of
Mm.
music and joy and togetherness
Yeah.
without judgment.
Yeah, what a gift though to receive all those notes from people to tell you about the impact that you've had in their lives, because I think like sometimes we call it like giving people their flowers while they're here.
Mm.
We miss so many opportunities to give people flowers while they're here. And so that's why, like, when I see a spark in you, like, I want to call it out. I want to call out your honesty and your joy and your zest and what you do to bring the glue to community. Cause it's not only in our program, it sounds like it's been in different parts of your life too, within family and professional settings. So, like, I want to give you more flowers and to tell you
Thank you.
that you exude so many of the great characteristics that humans ought to have, and I hope that you keep leaning into that and growing and coaching more people to emulate that as well.
Thank you. I love it. And coaching it transforms people's lives, and I just have seen it over and over, and so I'm just trying to figure out how to reach more and more people because life is so short that we don't have time to be miserable.
Mhm. If you were to, describe the prototypical or ideal client of yours, who would that be?
Someone who is overwhelmed and wants to feel better in their life. That is
Mm,
literally it. My clients range from I've worked with high school students. Right now, I have a couple of college students and people all the way up into their 80s. I had a gentleman not last year, struggling with grief, overwhelmed
mhm,
from grief. And so, what I have found is my client is not a demographic as far as age or career. It is anybody who has a brain and a body and who wants to feel better. And the reason I say that is because my clients have come from almost every demographic you can think of, from socioeconomic to educational to age and location. And the process that I teach and that some of what we learn in MAP is it is universal. It is understanding how your body works in relation to your brain and your emotions. And when you can figure that out, life is so much easier and you can let go of so much of the baggage that is not yours.
mhm. Mm,
Um,
that's
yeah.
good. That's good. If somebody was listening right now and they were thinking about coaching, but they've had these misconceptions about it, how would you debunk those? What are some top misconceptions about coaching that you would debunk?
First of all, I think that just the toxic positivity, that all's good, everything's good. You can just think your way out of it. You can have a bubble bath and a candle and breathe your way out of it. You can, and the thing is, there's nuggets of truth in those things, but it's portrayed sometimes in a way that where someone is just showering you with this positive juju that you're supposed to just take on and your life changes. And what I have learned in my journey with coaching, because when I went before I went through my coaching academy, I did a lot of research on my own. After that, I continued to look in different areas. And what I have found is some people are really good at the physiological piece, calming their body, understanding their nervous system. Um, but then they go, okay, now what? Right now I'm calm. What now? And then some people are really good at the mind management, or they have the ability to understand all of the concepts, but they absolutely cannot do it because their body is in fight or flight. They're in their sympathetic nervous system. So it's a combination of these different pieces and understanding what you're capable of and when you're not, and why. And it's okay because it comes back to physiology. And so with my approach to coaching, which I think is a little bit different than a lot of people, is coming at it from this physiological side. When I came to coaching, that was for sure my lane. And then it opened up into the cognitive behavior type stuff. But what I know for sure, and so my capstone is sort of focusing on, is there is a place, this sweet spot that allows people to let positive psychology, awareness, agency work, but there's a setup to it beforehand. And
Mm,
without that, all the work is impossible. And not because we're dumb, but because our
mhm.
prefrontal cortex is
Yeah.
clamped.
Yeah, that amygdala hijacking, like it will shut that down. It's like you got this supercomputer in the front of your brain, but if some of the wires in the back of that thing are twisted up and not working right, it you can't access it in the same way. And so I love that. I can't wait to read your capstone and see what you do with that. You told me about a metaphor with a car. Can you
Mhm.
explain that metaphor and how you use that in coaching?
Absolutely. So, what I coach on is how your body, we manage our body, then we manage our mind, and then we have sort of a thought cycle process we can use. And I did that for a year or so. And then I taught, and I was asked to speak in a high school. And I thought, okay, how am I going to teach these kids all of these sort of uh, theoretical things and land for them? And so, for whatever reason, I came up with the idea of a car, a driver, and a map. And since I did that first presentation that way, I changed everything. And that is sort of my metaphor, my analogy that I use always, and it lands always. So the idea is that your body is the car, your physical body, and there's several components to it. You've got the actual body of your car, which the analogy is your sensations, your physiological sensations, your heart pounding, your throat feeling tight, your stomach twisting. It's like the ding in the car, the knocking noise. You've got a sound system, and whatever's on that sound system, the whatever's coming out of it, whether it's like angry hard rock, soft jazz, relaxing jazz, intellectual podcast, salacious book, whatever, that creates the energy, the vibration in your car. That's our emotion. Are we feeling happy, sad, sexy, angry? And then your car has a dashboard. Your dashboard has warning signals, things like check engine,
Mhm.
tires low. I get lane departure warning. Whatever, those warning lights, some of them are pre-programmed, some of them you can adjust and program. And in my analogy, that is I call it our car brain, our reactionary brain, system one thinking. It is that immediate thought that pops in your head, that immediate warning signal, and things like, this is going to suck, you're never going to do well, everybody's going to hate you, why did you do that? Just these immediate reactionary thoughts that are built in. So that's the car. And in order to manage the car, you have to breathe. So, breathing allows us slow, deep diaphragmatic breathing, which affects your vagus nerve, helps you open and relax. Once we learn how to do that, and then, okay, so a lot of people know how to do that, right? Manage the car, manage your body. Um, Creating an emotional shift helps create hormonal changes. So, when we create kindness, love, or gratitude, then we open up a little bit. Um, and there's a lot of physiology to do with that, but I'm trying to stay on the positive psychology side, where broaden and build, right? Frederickson's broaden and
Explain
build.
that.
Yes. So when your nervous system is calmer, you have this ability to think things through. And the way I look at it from your nervous system, when you're in fight or flight, your body is going into survival. And that can be actual danger or just perceived. Literally,
Mhm.
someone using a tone with you can flip you into it. And in physiology, the blood in your body goes to your heart and your muscles so you can survive. And your body only cares about survival. So that's why your immune system is dialed down, your GI system is not functioning. That's why you can't, your body doesn't care if you can pee or poop when you're in survival. Um, the blood flow is not into your extremities, so that's why people get tingling. Your brain goes into hypervigilance. You cannot think thoughtfully about everything, and all of that is built in by design for survival. It's fabulous when we're in actual danger. The opposite of that is your parasympathetic, which I know you know all of this, is rest and heal. But the blood in your body flows to all the places. The oxygen goes to all the places. Your cortisol goes down. Your mood stabilizing hormones go up, and your brain literally opens like a flower. And now you can think about what your options are. And the analogy I use here is like, imagine you're late for work, you lost your keys, the dog is barking, someone's screaming at you. And the question is, what's 42 times three,
Yeah.
right? It's not that you're not smart and you can't figure it out, but in that moment, there's no way. And
Mhm.
so I got off track here. That's the car. The driver of the car is just being able to notice that the car can sit in the parking lot or you can be in the car. And when you're the driver, you can notice what's playing on the radio. You can decide whether you want to hear it or not hear it. You can change it. You can notice and describe the sensations in your body when you're feeling them. Oh, I'm feeling angry and my chest is pounding. You know,
Mhm.
that you have the ability as the driver to see these things. And then most importantly, you have the ability to notice the warning signals and
Yeah.
if they're helpful or true. Maybe it's telling you low fuel, but you know, there's a gas station in 2 miles. So when your brain is telling you this is the worst possible thing that could happen, you could, in that rest and heal place, in the driver's seat, say, oh, okay, well, maybe that's not true. What
Mhm.
else is also true? So you
Yeah.
have this ability when you're in awareness to see the car, to drive the car, to get in and out of the car.
Mm. Yeah. So we are currently at the University of Pennsylvania studying, getting our master's in applied positive psychology. And I'm curious if our program has shifted the way that you think about well being or the way that you will approach coaching, approach life, approach relationship, any of that. Has our program shifted the way that you've thought about well being?
Not shifted, but broadened, I would say. Because sort of one of my reasons to come to this program was to either enhance, strengthen, or debunk the process that I was already using, the theories that I was coming at it from. And so far, there's nothing that's really changing, it's just broadening. What has really opened my heart and mind is the humanities and
Hmm.
well being. I had
Yeah.
never really, other than music and dance, which is very important in my well-being and some of what I do. Um, just this idea of art and literature as being connected to well-being was brand new for me.
Hmm.
That part.
Oh,
Um,
that's good.
Yeah, and then just the the gravitas, the research, the strength behind all of the things um, that I'm already doing, which a lot of it I was already doing. I just didn't know the names of the theories or
Hmm.
why they're successful. I just know that they work. So this program is really giving me the language, the vocabulary, the science behind the coaching techniques and processes that are I'm already using. So I'm excited about
Absolutely.
it.
You mentioned broaden and build earlier as one of those theories, and broaden and build is it was developed by Barbara Fredrickson, and it's all around how positivity can help us one broaden the perspectives of our mind, the possibilities of the future, but then also help us build resources to lean on in times of stress, in times of trauma. And so when I first opened up, I asked you, what do you do in times of stress? And I try to get you to think about a positive childhood emotion because I know that many people, probably most people, have negative things that they can go to quickly because
Mm.
negativity bias, which is very prominent and has kept us alive throughout evolution. But when we're able to tap into that positivity, we are able to see possibilities that are not directly in front of us when we are in this negative tunnel vision state trying to survive. And I think, well, not I think the research shows that when we are coming from that state that we're able to learn better, we're able to build better relationships, we're able to perform better in so many aspects of life. And I think for me, though, it's a confirmation of so many of the things that I have one intuited throughout my life, but also have heard from, call it, the famous authors that don't come from a scientific basis but are speaking the same language. It's confirmed a lot of those things so that it gives me more confidence to speak on and write about these topics. So I've loved this program.
I mean, it's phenomenal from top to bottom, and just the further we get into it, I can see sort of the thoughts behind the process, even when our assignments are due and things like
Mhm.
that. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is why they did that. Oh, this is
It's
why
so
they.
intentionally done too. It is
Mhm.
all so very intentional. If anybody is curious about positive psychology, please reach out to us or the University of Pennsylvania MAP program. They will be a great resource to guide you. And if you're looking to study it, I highly recommend it. And I think, Joni, would you
Oh,
agree?
yes. And if you're not looking for like a full master's program, I stumbled upon it in Coursera, which
Oh,
is
wow.
a learning platform. And they have Foundations of Positive Psychology 1. They have, and it's actually from the UPenn program. I learned from Karen Rivich.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't actually sign up. I just audited the courses. So you can do that for free,
Mm.
and get this same kind of knowledge and information, and it's phenomenal.
Wow, wow, I didn't know that, that's cool. I got a question for you. What does flourishing feel like in your body?
In my body,
Mhm.
oh, I would say, I don't know if you can feel hopeful in your body. I mean, I know hopeful is more of an emotion, but it feels so physiologically, it feels relaxed and with a slight tension.
Explain that
So,
tension. What is that
so
tension
not
like?
relaxed like you're going to go to sleep, because I'm trying to think of sensations now, but it feels slightly energetic but peaceful.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I get it. I think because I meditate, and a lot of people who probably haven't meditated or don't understand what it's like, they may think that you're just resting
Mhm.
or trying to be as relaxed as possible. But the whole intention is around presence and mindfulness and staying connected. And so if I fell asleep, I'm not very mindful because that's not the intention of that practice. And so there is an active part to it all. So I get that. That's nice. I like that.
Like an underlying buzz of energy that feels good. You're hopeful, you're productive, you're not necessarily productive, you want to be productive, motivated, I guess is the word,
Mm,
and
mhm.
just joyful.
Yeah, yeah. You're saying a lot of the character strengths that you possess, which I love that that comes out in our language because it's important to us. Before we close out, I got another segment that is fill in the blank. And so you
Okay.
think of the first thing that comes to mind and you fill in these four blanks. Resilience is blank.
Resilience is the very first thing that came in my mind was recovery, but I don't know if that's right. Resilience
There's no right or
is
wrong.
okay. Yeah, recovering from whatever.
My body is always trying to tell me blank.
Go.
Yes. Hell yeah. When I feel overwhelmed, I remind myself blank.
God is good. Life is short. People matter.
Mm, mm. And lastly, when I need inspiration, I turn to blank.
Prayer.
Amen. Oh, this has been fantastic, Joni. And I think we could talk for hours and hours and uncover even more layers of the onion of who Joni is and the work that you do. But I think you've given the audience a gift in the stories and your personality and how you show up in the world. And I thank you for that. It's been an honor for me to be here and witness it. So I appreciate you so much for this.
Oh, thank you. And I am just, we met the first day at our program. I think we sat in the same row. I can't remember. But I just remember being inspired by you from day one, to be so accomplished. And I don't mean that in the sense of traditional accomplished, which you are, but accomplished emotionally and mentally in your journey. And not only to be that and to have that, to do that, but to be wanting and willing to share it with those who are coming behind you.
Mm,
I think that's so needed in our world right now, to have men, young men, masculine men who are also loving and kind and open and aware. And so I thank you for what you're doing for, and then now even reaching down to the littles.
Yeah.
Um, that's
Oh, yeah.
huge. Um,
Definitely.
and it's so needed in our world right now. So thank
Mm.
you for that, and for inviting me here today and into your world. And I just can't wait to watch you just explode in your career as you're already doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you reminding me, bringing up the littles. I just released this children's book that is right there over my head. It's blurred out, but I Am the Rose is. I'm so excited to share that. It's all about resilience and hope, and a lot of what you were talking about, of just you know, feeling it in your body and knowing it and believing it. There are exercises in the back that help to connect to regulate nervous system, and I think it's something that young people need more access to, and they need to incorporate it into their daily lives, regular routine, grow up with it, so that they're not learning later on in life how to do these things, that they're just a part of their everyday life. So
Yeah,
thank
they
you
don't have to
for that.
wait till they're 50.
Yeah. Joni, if someone is feeling stuck, is feeling overwhelmed with life, is experiencing grief and needs somebody to work with, how can they get in touch with you?
Oh, nice and easy. So my coaching name is Coach Joni O. That is my website, www.coachjonio'neil.com. I always offer just a free coaching session, consultation, no strings attached. Um, my success in coaching, I 100% believe, comes from my desire to help, um, if it goes both ways. So I'm never a hard sell. I don't do any of that. If people like what they hear, and 9 times out of 10 they do, and they want to work with me, I'm available.
Awesome. Awesome. Joni, this has been a pleasure. With all the things that you could be doing, all the places you could be, I appreciate you being here with me, embracing vulnerability.
Oh, thank you, Reggie. I enjoyed it so much.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of Vulnerability Muscle. If you've enjoyed these conversations around vulnerability, please consider leaving a review. Your feedback not only motivates us to continue to do the work that we do, but it allows other people to witness the power of vulnerability. Share your thoughts on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you're listening from. And don't forget to spread the word. You can follow us at Vulnerability Muscle on Instagram, and me personally at Reggie D. Ford across all platforms. Visit vulnerabilitymuscle.com for additional resources and support. And remember, embracing vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is the source of your greatest strength. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but most workouts are. So keep flexing that vulnerability muscle.